A 5, a 6, a 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3.
Ducky Joint.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Ducky Joint Podcast. My name is Scott McRae.
Brandon Brown.
Askhat and Scott.
And you may notice there's something new here. We're in a different house. What's up, Zach?
What's up? It's my house.
This is my house.
But yeah, that's our buddy Zach. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to the peoples at homes?
Do I say like my full name or what?
Yeah, I mean, if you're willing to give that
Whatever you want to
information,
share,
go ahead.
My name is Zac Cornfield. My social security number. No, I'm just kidding. I'm Zach. I'm a longtime friend of Scott's. I have known of Askhat for quite some time.
Yeah.
Only met him last year. And, I met Brandon last year as well on a visit up to Portland. So yeah.
Yeah. Damn. Well, yeah, we're here in Albuquerque. Lots been going on. Lots been happening.
Yeah.
Things are different. A lot less tension than we're used to. This is crazy. This is cool.
Things are kind of chill here. Yeah.
Yeah,
A
it's
lot
extremely
less
chill.
flashbangs.
Yeah, haven't heard one of those.
In like a week? No. That's pretty cool. Or like, go home. This is the curfew warning.
Anyone still around after 10 o'clock will be subject to use of force.
Oh God.
So it is refreshing.
Yeah, I felt like you guys were living like a weird dystopian nightmare of a city.
Yeah,
It's fun.
It's fun. It's a cool city.
Yeah,
Gotta.
It's an experience.
It's an experience for sure.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Albuquerque is really cool though. It's my first time in New Mexico. A lot of fun. I've seen a lot of things from Breaking Bad, which is like one of my favorite shows. Got to post up at Walter White's house and take pictures and
The white residents.
the white residents. I threw that up on my Snap, and a bunch of people thought that it was some racist shit. For anybody that's watching, it was not racist. It was Walter White, the white resident. Calm down, guys.
There aren't any colors left.
There aren't any colors left, but that's besides the point. But yeah, I was having a great time, and these guys have shown me a lot of fun things.
Binging out on a green chili.
Oh my God.
My stomach will never forgive me for what I've done to it out here.
Yeah, the bathroom breaks have been rough to say the least. I know you're like supposed to get like, when you travel to foreign countries, you're supposed to have like an adjustment period, but Albuquerque there's no adjustment period. You just are liquid
I live here
Just
and
jump
I
all
can
the way.
I can confirm that.
I've been liquid my entire life.
Born and raised liquid, baby.
So yeah, we actually have a couple topics this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Brandon wanted to talk about Hugo Voss, which I don't know if he still wants to talk about that, but
Oh, Hugo Boss?
Mhm.
Boss.
Yeah.
Is it brand?
Yeah.
I'm wearing Hugo Boss socks right now.
That's really funny, actually.
Oh, they're coming.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that like tied into the last podcast.
With the Ralph Lauren
Oh, we were
stuff.
talking about fashion. Oh, I actually had a
Tommy
I had a
Hilfiger.
follow-up to that too, actually.
Oh, perfect.
Because I read an article recently about Virgil Ablo. I read an article recently that was like the idea behind.
We will be right back. And we are back. Askhat, continue.
We're back. I was just talking about Virgil Ablo. I'm not really an expert on fashion or anything like that, but I did read an article recently that the whole idea behind his image is that he doesn't create anything new. He recycles things and puts a contemporary lens on it, I guess, and that also historically fashion has been run and dominated by a small group of wealthy white individuals, and he's supposed to be, and that people calling him unoriginal and saying that he's basically all the negative things have been correlated with just trying to break down him as an African American fashion icon. I'm not sure how the article can be interpreted. It was on Hypebeast or High Variety or something like that, written by somebody in that culture, kind of a field. But as a continuation to our talk of him, I just wanted to add that. But I don't know what you guys think about that.
I think there's some valid critiques of Virgil
Definitely.
Definitely, yeah. I was gonna say because I was not familiar with him at all when you guys brought him up in the last podcast, but I have done a little research since we talked about him, and like, there's absolutely every critique that's been leveled at him is like leveled at him for a very good reason. Like while there's something to be said for the value of him doing what he's doing as who he is, there's also something to be said for like. I don't want to say could it be someone else, but like, yeah, is there someone else who's like original? Like, you know, like I don't mean to.
That is what the case is.
Yeah.
Is that there are plenty of people who are original, and Virgil is taking like cues from those people and then putting it into Off-White, and then it's just Off-White. And then rappers are talking about Off-White. Rappers aren't talking about, oh, the black community just has all types of culture and style, and they're talking about Off-White specifically. So even though his goal is to take parts from the culture and like bring to light that it's actually black fashion, whatever the fuck, he's not doing that. He's putting the light on himself because it's Off-White that's getting the shine. It's only afterwards that people are like, well, wait a minute, this looks like this, and then that person who actually came up with the shit originally gets a little bit of
conversation.
Yeah. There was even someone who said that they were like, all he had to do was just ask them and he would work with them, no problem.
Give credits.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He got accused of stealing the cover for Pop Smoke's
I saw that.
for Pop Smoke's like posthumous album.
Really?
Yes.
Was it the first cover that was like awful or whatever? The one where like you couldn't see Pop Smoke's ear?
No,
No, it was like one.
The second one.
Okay, it's the second one. Yeah.
Well, no.
They had two album covers.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, the first one was a disaster, so they
No
decided.
one liked the first one, and then the second one came out, and then someone like accused him of stealing that from them.
That's wild.
I mean, it was already out by then.
Right.
So it is
Also,
what it
in
is.
my opinion, the whole idea of quotes around words to separate the meaning of them behind the literal, whatever, interpretation of the word, which is what he's going for, is so corny. Like, it's just a corny thing. I feel like that's happened in film since long before. I feel like that's happened in writing. I feel like that's happened in so many other art forms. And it's just kind of like...
It happens in everyday
Yeah, I was about to
People
say,
do
yeah,
that shit
yeah.
all the
All
time.
the time,
Yeah. But it's different when Virgil does it because he put shoelaces on the side of the shoe.
On the shoelaces.
Or a red
Oh,
tag.
yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah, he put shoelaces on the shoelaces. Because get it, they're shoelaces.
Shoelaces.
I don't know. It's kind of like a funny idea, but it was like not funny after the first time.
Yeah. Like he did it once and people are like, okay, this is new.
It was kind of fresh, honestly. Like I really liked the like original Off-White, like the high tops,
Oh, yeah.
the red ones.
Mm-hmm.
Like those were fresh as hell.
The Jordans?
Yeah, the Jordan ones. But yeah, at this point, it's like every single shoe he puts out, and it's like, you know,
Right.
it's like whatever.
Loses its allure after a while.
It's totally lost its allure. Yeah.
That's pretty funny. That actually segues pretty well into talking about rappers dying too young, and but Pop Smoke, Juice WRLD, and Recent Memory, and kind of how that cements their legacy and in many ways overblows their legacy. We've been talking about that a lot, and kind of especially in relationship to Juice WRLD, because that Juice WRLD project
Pop
is
Smoke even too.
Pop Smoke.
I had never heard of Pop Smoke until he died.
Yeah.
Right.
And now he's like,
Now he's everywhere.
he's that nigga.
Exactly, and it's like, you know, they did the same thing with like Basquiat, and like it's something that's been done. You know,
Mhm.
I don't know, it's frustrating for sure.
It's just really interesting.
Do you think it's a new thing? Sorry.
It's definitely something that's like been done, but I feel like it's the only reason we were like talking about it is because like now with the rap game the way it is, with like so many new rappers popping up every single day and like becoming mainstream every single day, and like there's a new nigga, Lil, Young, whatever the fuck, every day. So it's hard to become like somebody for real and like last past that first 15 minutes of like mainstream fame. So once someone dies that had that 15 minutes now in the rap game, they're all of a sudden a legend. And it's not that they just receive recognition beyond what they were before. It's that they are being regarded as legends and achieving legend status and shit.
Also, I've never seen so many posthumous albums up until recently. Like, I mean, I know that's been a thing, but it has not been
No, there's
so
only
popular.
4 or 5 this year.
Exactly.
Mac
And just
Miller.
like artists in general, like I think in the hip hop and rap area, that's specifically where posthumous albums are coming out so frequently. I
Well,
think.
yeah, I mean,
Well,
you already know, like, each of their producers has, like, probably, like, hours of them rapping on their laptop, They just pick and choose the best bits.
Mm-hmm. And to Brandon's credit, like, to your point, like, about kind of, like, the influx and, like, frequency of rappers, that, like, how are you going to, like, really, like, stand out amongst the crowd unless you're, like, dead, which is a weird thing to say, but, like, like, Juice WRLD only stands out because he's dead. Pop Smoke only stands out because he's dead. There's nothing about their sounds that makes them extraordinary or captivating or even, like, remotely, I guess, like, new, in some way. But, like, it's the novelty of, like, the morbidity of their story, which is kind of horrible, that it's, like, it's really this, like, almost, like, fetishization of, like, the misery of these.
It's a total fetishization. But that's always been a thing.
Yeah, that is true. And music in general and art in general.
I was about to say,
But I mean, this is like taking it to a new level, I feel.
Yeah.
It's super postmodern.
2020
Like,
is taking everything to a new level.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just us noticing these things.
Yeah. It's just the cultural value around it is really, the cultural currency around people dying has really just blown me away, I guess. That, like, you remember that one year, was it the year that Bowie died? I remember when everyone was like, the year that everyone died or whatever, and then, like, Prince died the next year or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like, everyone's dying all of a sudden, and it's like when actually the reverse was true, less people were dying than ever before, like age rates were getting better, and so it's this weird thing where, too, is like, some of it's the visibility, too. Like, I'm sure, like, this, like, once again, it's not like the majority of the rap community is still alive, but
for sure.
right? They're still making music.
95%.
But
Yeah.
are still alive.
There are so many niggas.
But there's almost this, like, emphasis on the ones who are, like, no longer here, and, like, the what ifs and, like, could have beens, when it's like, especially when the what ifs and could have been, the only one that I can really consider in all honesty that could have been like a could have been is Mac Miller. Mac Miller still had a long way to go developmentally, musically, everything.
also, I feel like
Call time out. We right back, folks. And we are back, everybody. How are you, Askhat?
great.
Askhat farted pretty bad a second ago.
Yeah. You left a powerful stench in the air.
Did not waft this way.
I feel like it's being blown out of proportion.
But yeah, I didn't get to talk about Hugo Boss. We went past that. Yeah, we were going to tie that in with what we talked about at the end of the last episode with Tommy Hilfiger having the controversy of, like, people thinking he was racist when he didn't say things that were, like, actually racist necessarily. And I thought it was interesting that there was, like, such a big controversy around Tommy Hilfiger with that, where Hugo Boss, the company, began as a Nazi sympathizing company. Like, it was creating uniforms for the SS.
Wow.
Like, that is how
Really?
that is how the
I didn't know
company began.
That's wild.
Like, Hugo Boss would not have existed if it were not for
The
the
SS,
Nazi
and
Party
yeah,
and
wow.
the SS. Yeah, like, it was specifically created for them to help them. And then it became a brand that we now recognize and accept and wear, and
That's
no one's
crazy.
ever, what the fuck, like, you know what I mean?
Has Hugo
Whereas-
Boss as a company, like, publicly, like, stepped away from their Nazism roots?
I haven't seen it. I haven't looked into it that much, so I don't really
Yeah.
know. Because that was actually the point I was going to bring up, was like, yeah, all of that is very true, but I would have, like, there would have had to be some sort of,
Reconciliation?
yeah, exactly, unless there wasn't, which.
Right. Like, we made money off of Nazi uniforms. It's pretty. We'll talk about war profiteering. Yeah, war profiteering when it's war profiting on the Nazis. That's a whole different war profiteering.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there was any reconciliation or not. There might have been.
Yeah.
I feel like you would have had to at some point. I feel, yeah,
Also, Hugo Boss, that guy, is probably not around anymore.
Well, no. But yeah, I mean, like when you get to, like, things like reconciliation, it's like, is it something that can be reconciled? First of all, because it's like, also, is it something that necessarily needs to be reconciled? You can get clothes from anywhere else. You can get high-end clothes from anywhere else.
It's your choice.
That didn't begin as a Nazi. Like, the reconciliation shouldn't be necessary. It should just be, we're done. You know, in my opinion.
Like, yeah,
I
it's
don't
your choice.
think-
Like, if you
yeah.
choose to buy from Hugo Boss and you reckon with that history and
Yeah, I feel like regardless of reconciliation or not, I don't agree with it because it's like the beginnings are not correct. So like why?
I feel like you could apply that statement to like the current political
climate.
where things began, you know, in kind of like a not very, like a really, honestly, like a really horrific way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you know, like right now we as a nation are like trying to like reconcile with that. But you're saying that it's like, it's like you can't reconcile with that, or?
I'm not saying you can't reconcile with that. I'm saying you can reconcile with that when that reconciliation is necessary. In terms of clothing, it's not necessary.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You can get clothes from somewhere else, and I appreciate the brand taking that step to reconcile, I guess, but like, it feels like it'd be impossible to know whether or not they actually give a shit. They could just do that because they know they can't make money otherwise. People are not going to support them if they don't say, we're no longer tied to this, we didn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I have an issue with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's yeah, how I put it. I don't know if I can articulate exactly what my issue is with it. I feel like it's a little fishy dealing with things like that. And then like what you said with like the current political climate, that's something that's absolutely necessary.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that we need in order for us to survive
For sure.
like happily.
Yeah.
So like that's necessary. One single clothing brand among many others, it
Yeah.
gets fishy.
Because you can't really choose another history, you know.
Well,
like,
we
there's
can
just
break
more
open the
added-
history of many fashion.
I mean, yeah, no, I
industries,
think-
too, and
I
I
think
think
that,
there's
like,
a lot that
yeah.
have started in.
I think that there's a lot of brands, if you look everywhere, that started in like.
I mean, granted, Nazism is different.
I was gonna
Like
say,
there's
you have to,
insurance companies that are still around today that used to like insure slaves and stuff like that. Like, you know, like there's so many dark roots.
right,
in
and then
everything.
like
in capital, especially.
yeah, but then when you get to that, it's like insurance is something that's necessary, and there's probably damn near every insurance company was involved with that in terms of America. I'm assuming. I'm not sure, but
I mean, I don't think all of them are quite that old, but.
Mhm.
well, I mean, like everyone that was around at the time.
Yeah, if you
was
were around.
probably involved in it.
Oh, yeah,
So it's
for
like
sure.
at that point, you could choose to only go to one insurance company that wasn't around back then, and
Mhm.
that would be like on you to do that, and you know what I mean. But like, that's something that's necessary. We need insurance. It's not clothes. It's not. There aren't endless options for insurance the way there are.
So we
endless
should
options
be.
for
Well,
clothing
there
companies.
totally are endless options for insurance.
The same way that there are clothing.
I was gonna say
No,
clothing. I
there
feel
are
like
not.
There's a big market out there for sure.
There's a big market, but there are not like tens of thousands of
Yeah,
different
no, you can't start
types
your
of
own
insurance.
insurance.
That's what I'm
You guys
saying.
started a clothing
There's
company.
a much
Shut
bigger
up,
pool
Strawberry.
of
No.
clothing brands to
Thank you
choose
for that,
from than
Scott.
there are insurance brands.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would not want to start an insurance company out of my garage.
Right.
I'd start t-shirts though. Hell yeah, start do a pop up, but like pop up insurance. I'm like,
You gotta have like millions of dollars if you're trying to insure.
insure. that you need a foundation to insure
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, no, that's really interesting. I wonder how much like because like with fashion too, and I mean I guess with like a lot of companies as a whole, especially with fashion, 'cause fashion is too is such like a vain, not vain, because like I don't want to diminish fashion at all, but it is like because of how like personal it is to like what you want to wear, like how you want to feel, how you want to look. That it's like with American history, it's like that feels like once again more necessary than clothes. Clothes like we could just wear sacks if we wanted to, but we have aesthetic pleasures. We have like vanity. We have things we want to look like and be, and so yeah, we had to have more options in that way. Whereas like history is something we're necessitated towards, and like we have to, or even insurance in that way. Like and unfortunately, if you live in a capital society, like if you don't have insurance, like get insurance.
Yeah.
Also, insurance is a whole different topic. We could go down
Yeah,
on whether or not
Right, yeah,
insurance
yeah,
is necessary.
I was even gonna,
Yeah.
like, I'm not standing up for insurance at all
I'm
either,
not,
because, like,
yeah.
insurance is...
Insurance is necessary right now because it has
Exactly.
to.
It's the
There's
system.
no way to get
They've
around
made
it.
it mandatory.
Exactly. Yeah. So, if anything, should be going after the insurance company.
But I also don't know of any, like, other really big brands, like Hugo Boss level, that have started from something that's, like, that obviously,
Pinpointed.
like, not okay.
Yeah, how you made your wealth.
Like, yeah, it's like, that's not okay.
I mean,
There's lots of fashion. I mean, yeah, I see what you're
There's-
saying, but there's also lots of
Yeah.
industries that are currently using like slave labor, basically, in other countries and
the
stuff.
fashion
like that.
industry right
Yeah.
now is
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a known thing in a whole other
Yeah,
topic.
yeah.
We're not speaking about that specifically. We're not speaking about the fashion industry now. We're speaking about the origins of these.
It's just like
companies
it's
and-
so difficult because there's literally like every single company almost came from like a bad place. Like a Coca-Cola was started by like a Confederate soldier who was like mixing cocaine and wine together. You know, like there's definitely like some nefarious places that I you could point to anything. You know.
I feel like that's not anything,
Not
but a large
anything.
large
But I mean,
portion
and
of
then
things.
when you
yeah.
get to
Not anything, but I meant like any product or something. I'm sure there's a brand in there.
absolutely, and if you can pinpoint that brand, then why let it slide?
Well, I mean, it's not like they're actively participating in that anymore. And
Would you say that you feel the
Depending
same way
on
about
how-
Coca-Cola
And I
that
feel
you
like
do about
exactly.
Hugo
And I feel
Boss?
like the Hugo Boss thing is still way bigger than the Coca-Cola thing you just brought up. Because
That's
like a
true.
Confederate soldier is bad, obviously.
Yeah.
Wouldn't stand for him ever in life, but nowhere near as bad as a Nazi. You know what I mean?
So
No, Nazis are
tier,
totally like,
Yeah, like-
they're bad for sure. But
And,
like,
and then the idea that you were
Well, how
able
are
to
you
be a Nazi
comparing
and like come
Confederates
out
and-
of Nazism and like succeed as like a company is like a whole
That's the problem I'm having.
Mhm.
is
I don't
that
know if you can
it
separate
was-
Confederates and Nazis as one being worse or one being
No,
better.
it's like circumstantial. I think is what we're talking about here. Like Hugo Boss, what he did in that situation to the Coke guy, like his that if you're going to I
The
mean
Coke guy had nothing to do with. I mean, Coca-Cola had nothing to do directly with the Confederacy. It was
Yeah.
just born of the Confederacy.
by
as opposed to
Just so
Hugo
happened.
Boss, who
It
was
could have
like,
been
I'm
one
gonna
of
make
the- I see what
uniforms for
you're saying, I see what
Nazis.
you mean.
This was
and make money
specifically
off of
for Nazis.
Nazis. And then take
Well,
that wealth
if-
and transpose it into a global brand. Like that's
Okay, first of all, there's like, when it comes to Nazis and wealth, like that shit is really fucked up and messy. There are tons of people today who are like still millionaires and stuff whose wealth is built upon money that Nazis stole from like Jews and from other peoples. Like there's tons of people like that who
Yeah.
exist today, and they live very comfortable lives and stuff. So like if we're going that far, like do we take away all their money? Like do we target like these people as well who are
But the thing
children?
is, I didn't
who are children and
advocate for
grandchildren?
taking the money away from Hugo Boss. I'm just saying, do
Well, you
we
kind of
continue
are.
to support them? That's what I'm
The
saying.
only you support them with your money, so-
Right, but that's not saying strip them of everything they've made so far.
Okay.
It's saying, in the future, do we continue to support? I'm not speaking on if
Oh,
it
yeah,
should have
yeah.
happened and if we. I'm not speaking on some reparations type shit. I'm not saying we go back and steal what they stole.
Mhm.
No, I'm saying since we can acknowledge that this has occurred and know that it's not okay, should we continue to support this? In my opinion, probably not.
What about like all these people who, are like the children of Nazis and stuff who started their own companies and stuff like that? How do you feel about that?
That's not something you can control. Unless you are participating in the Nazism that your parents were, then that's not something you can control.
So
you can't control who
how
you
can
were born
Hugo
to.
Boss today control where they came from then?
They can't, but the company began the way it began, period. That's
Yeah,
a
but you
different
said-
entity than a child.
Yeah, but a kid's money, him creating the company
I'm-
off of the money of the Nazis, of his his parents being Nazis. That's
What-
the same
what I'm-
idea. It's starting from.
The point that I'm trying to
It's
make
not the
is that
same
it's been such a long time at this point that like all those people from Hugo Boss are most likely dead, and I don't think anybody at the company Hugo Boss today is a Nazi, actively. I don't.
I'm not saying that they are.
Yeah, no,
I know.
and
Yeah.
so I think that like maybe in like the 1940s, like I wouldn't have bought Hugo Boss stuff, but today it's maybe a little bit different.
And I think I understand where you see that difference, but would rather
Just not buy it.
Yeah,
all.
like
Yeah,
stay
no,
away
I
from
understand
them,
that.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like just for personal
Yeah.
reasons. But yeah, I don't agree that the child of the Nazi parents is the same situation as the thing, because again, it's something that was specifically created to go towards a cause that is bad. You were born to Nazi parents. Your company could be something that's ending global warming.
That's true.
You're not just necessarily gonna be a terrible
though,
person.
The whole thing about Nazis and like eugenics, like those children were kind of created to.
Yeah, but to that same extent, clothes are clothes. Like anybody could have created the clothes for the Nazis, and they would have gotten their clothes one way or another. The clothes aren't the thing that did the bad thing. It was the money that they received for selling the clothes to the Nazis, which is what we were talking about. The capital built off of something unethical, and for the children, that's the same thing. It's money that's created from something unethical.
But they didn't make it
disagree.
unethically. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't.
The
make
money
it
was made unethically on purpose. The children are not doing it on purpose.
They're not giving any of it back though. Is the other thing.
Well, I mean, who's to say? You don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah. If they're like
Yeah.
going.
I see what you mean.
I read
Yeah,
this
I see what you
article
mean,
but, like-
just like about this guy who like lives in like a castle in Switzerland and stuff, and like his grandfather was like
And that's,
literally
like,
just like the number
one
two Nazi.
person that's
Right.
anecdotal.
You know,
And there could be guys
exactly.
But
I
like,
know.
yeah,
But
it's
Hugo
like,
Boss is
I
one
definitely
of
know what
those
you mean.
I like to think of the guy
but
who's, like,
that's
money
a
to Jason
company
Seeds.
Yeah.
that multiple people involve themselves with. You know what I mean? Whereas that's one single person who got away with it, doesn't give their money back, and might be fucking sheltered off somewhere. They're probably
You're in
not. But
Switzerland.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
they are sheltered. Yeah.
it's a very different situation than something that is still being engaged in by the masses.
That's a good point.
And like I was saying, I think the purposefulness behind the making the money by an unethical means is the difference between the child and Hugo Boss initially, because he did it with the intent of supplying Nazis with clothes or uniforms and also making money, whereas the kids are born and then the same way you were born and you have business ideas, you just want to go do something. Those kids just want to go do. You can't fault them for that. And you can't say that it's automatically unethical because of that. That's not how that works. That's why we've said that intent is like the most important thing when you're deciding whether or not someone was meaning bad or good when they did something. We've had that discussion plenty of times.
Yeah.
Your turn.
Yeah. We will take a break right now. We're back.
We returned.
We've returned. Oh, it feels so good.
So we have returned.
Yeah. It's
Alright,
This is what I've
Scott's
been waiting
Scott's
for.
coming over here because we returned.
it's my face. Wait, what's up, Fergie Olver? Olver?
Fergie
Olver?
Me and Askhat were watching a cringe compilation last week, and there was like a maybe 2.5, 3 minute chunk out of like an 8-minute video that was all Fergie Olver, who was a game show host. Do you know when? It was like, I think it was like the 80s, right?
70s,
80s. He hosted a show called Just Like Mama, where a little girl like age 13 and under would come on the show with her mom, and he would like ask them questions to like, I guess, test and see if they were just like their mom. And all of the
What the
clips,
fuck?
yeah, it's already weird.
Wait,
right.
That was the whole premise of the show, is to see if the little girl was like her mother.
Okay, your elevator pitch, you've already called 911 on this guy.
Yeah. Okay.
You think, right?
So
You
we
think.
continue, and
Jesus Christ.
the clips were all him doing what I felt like game show hosts back then used to do all the time, because I used to watch GSN, the Game Show Network, and like the old Family Feud and shit used to come up with that one nigga that used to host all the game shows back then. His name's like Richard something.
Yeah.
He would but he would do it with women who were like older, like 18 up at least. Still doesn't make it okay, but like he would like lean in and like try to kiss him.
Yeah,
kiss
it was
him
The Price is
and
Right,
shit.
right? Bob Barker.
It was,
Bob Barker.
No, it was not just Bob Barker. It was the nigga that hosted Old Family Feud. His name was Richard something. And he also hosted Hollywood Squares. Yeah, so like he would like lean in and try to kiss him, and like some girls would kiss him, some wouldn't, and it was like a weird thing that he would do to like multiple girls Fergie on a show with a girl 13 and under and her mother sitting next to her would do it to the little girls. Would hey, do you give out kisses? And some girls would be like, mm-hmm, and he would kiss them on the lips. Or some girls would be like, no, and be like nervous and not okay with it, and he would like jump in and like try to steal a kiss. Yeah, and then like a couple, or one of them he did steal a kiss. One of them like turned away from him, and one he just asked, and she was like no, and he was like, well, I just heard in my ear that if you give me a kiss, you can win the show. And she goes,
I think he said if you don't give me a kiss.
No. He said if you give me a kiss, you can win the show. And then she goes, mm-mm. And he goes, well, I guess you're not winning the show then. And he goes, unless you want to give me a kiss. And then she's like, mm-mm. And then he tries to take one from her too. And then there was another clip where they go to like some big wheel and they're not sitting down anymore. Mm-hmm. And the mom is in front and the little girl's behind her. And he goes, let's see if I can get a kiss now. And the mom just leans in and kisses him. And he goes, the moms are always so easy. It's the little ones that are the difficult ones to... Yeah. And in one of the clips, his wife, who was actually his co-host on the game show, calls him a dirty old man for like trying to steal the kiss from the little girl who was saying like, no, she doesn't give
Also, one of them was like 6 or 7.
Good
yeah.
God.
Where are these people now? Like, where are the...
Oh yeah, that's where it gets
now?
better. He hasn't been arrested. He hasn't been charged. He hasn't even been looked into. Basically, he disappeared for a while because people were like, "Oh yeah, that's pretty pedophilic of you," and
he just did.
He did,
Dipped
and then
in
he
the
came.
80s.
Yeah, he came back, and he's cool. He's not canceled. He didn't get arrested. He didn't get charged with nothing.
Well, he didn't come back. People don't know where he is.
Oh.
He dipped in the 80s and he's just hasn't been found. Like,
So he's just on the run.
I mean, I doubt he's like
on the run.
Yeah.
He's probably just living somewhere.
Effectively not welcome.
Yeah, definitely living on the run.
Roman Polanski on the run.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a fun little thing that we stumbled
It
upon.
was horrible and gross. It made me want to throw up.
That's awful.
Really just made me think about what we've had a few talks about with like the perpetuation of like pedophilia. In our
Oh
nation.
yeah, Netflix is recently being called
Oh
out
my
for
god,
cuties.
yeah, the cuties. That looks horrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks pretty bad.
And now this, I don't know if I know you guys have heard about this. I'm not sure if you've heard about this, but trans ageism.
I'm sorry?
So, it's the pedo community basically trying to shove themselves into LGBTQ rights and being like, we're trans ageist. We just don't feel like our age inside. And those kids, they don't feel like their age inside. It's so fucked up. And I mean, you really gotta see the propaganda to like really understand the depth of sociopathy going on here in terms of like the lies they are telling themselves to make this work in postmodern culture. It's wild, man. It is like so scary. I mean, it's like, yeah, they've got their own symbol and stuff, and it's like and they call themselves like pedosexual. It's disgusting. And it's like, yeah, I doubt it'll get any traction. When I saw it, it was on a post. I think it was on Your Mom's House, and they did a post about it. It was like, the woman who posted it was like, don't allow these people into that. I mean, she was very negative, obviously, reposting it, but still, the idea that she was able to, this LGBTQ person probably, with the algorithm being the way it is, it was like, oh, you probably want this stuff too, and it's like, no, algorithm. So it's like, once again, even the algorithm like is also imbued with that.
The algorithm is a monster in its own, for sure.
Definitely. But I mean, once again, it's imbued with all the flaws of its creators, and that's just one.
Yeah, but at this point, it's like, I mean, like, I think, like, most people at, like, Facebook and, like, most people at, like, Snapchat and stuff like that couldn't tell you how the algorithm works.
It's true. I mean, yeah.
It runs their lives, too, you know?
Yeah,
it's
the
like
listening
the first
part's
step.
crazy,
It's like the first step into AI, and it's, like, pretty fucked up and nefarious.
Yeah. It's kind of wild.
That's why Mark Zuckerberg looks stressed out all the time. It's gotten away from him. He's like, I don't know what I've created. I'm just going to keep quiet. Hopefully
Either that or he's fully
aware of it. He's tapped
given
in with
into
it.
the
Yeah.
AI, so he logs out sometimes.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that man is a computer.
Yeah, he is. I'm pretty sure too.
Yeah, It's funny that David Fincher tried to make like a human movie about Mark Zuckerberg.
I know. Oh my god.
It's like
He has
remarkably human.
emotions.
It's it's
So
like the ending.
human.
It's about friendship and about his lack thereof. It's like no, it's not. Mark Zuckerberg literally hates everyone. He never cared about anyone. Yeah, sure, he's trying to get revenge on that girl still. Sure, whatever. I buy it because he's a petty asshole. Like I mean, the world is run by petty assholes. Hey guys, I don't know if you noticed this. You can probably all trace them back Freudian to something in their childhood that was like, I need to take over the world now, and then it's just like. That's how it works. Like that's how that shit happens. It's it's trauma still, just a wild manifestation of it. Adolf Hitler. Because being told you're no good at painting is quite the trauma.
I couldn't imagine.
Your rivers suck. These blues, bleh. Whatever you say to German.
He really, really cared about painting. Like that's who he was gonna become, and then somebody just shit on him, and he.
I mean, bro, he transposed his love of aesthetics and really just like blew it up.
You think he designed his own uniforms? He was in there like, oh, this red looks really good with this black. He was coming up with the color schemes for the Nazi Party and everything.
Yes, the dense color schemes.
Yeah. He was like,
If you go into
he's like, tell me my colors are off now, bitch.
If you go into Hitler's like mansions in Germany, all swatches, all color swatches. Just piles.
All of his teachers were like monochromatic. But yeah, on that lovely end, thank you guys so much for watching. We love you. Like, subscribe.
Thank you, Zach,
watch
for
again. Thank you,
joining
Zach, for
us.
hosting. Thank you for setting up the camera and the lights and everything.
I got you.
For
It's
hosting
great
us
to
over
see
this
you.
wonderful
Yeah,
trip.
it's been a great trip.
Yeah.
We love you, dude. Thank you
Love
so
you
much.
too. Yeah, thank you guys for coming.
But yeah,
It's been great having
we
you.
will catch you guys next time.
We'll see you back in Portland, baby.
Woo!
Ducky
Jones.